So guys, the world of stock market is filled with jargon, right? So whenever some beginner comes here, they get confused, they don't understand the language that people are talking here. And it's very, very hard for them to comprehend what's really going on. So what we are doing is making a series of videos that we are calling Jargon Busters, where we will take one jargon at a time and demystify that, simplify that using plain simple English and using some practical examples. So in today's video, we will focus on a pair of jargons called headwinds and tailwinds. Now, these terms are actually very, very common in India. You would read them in the newspaper or in the annual reports, in the management commentary, or maybe you will hear them on TV where anchors are talking about a company or a sector that is facing headwinds or tailwind. So what exactly are headwinds and tailwinds? Well, these terms originally come from the aviation industry. So you see, when an aeroplane is flying and all of a sudden it encounters wind coming from the opposite direction, then these winds are called headwinds, right? Because they are coming towards the head of the plane. And on the other hand, if the plane encounters wind that is blowing in the same direction as that of the aeroplane, then these winds are called tailwinds. Now, as you can see, headwinds make it harder for the aeroplane to move forward and tailwinds make it easier for the aeroplane to move forward. And this is exactly how these terms are interpreted in the world of finance and stock market as well. So headwinds are factors that make it harder for a business to make a profit. Now, these factors can be new government regulation or the rising cost of raw materials or change in consumer preferences, right? So anything that can potentially impact the profitability of the business in the negative way is called as a headwind. Now, a good example of this will be oil prices. Right, so when oil prices went up above $100 a barrel, a lot of industries that depend on oil as raw material saw their profits decline because their margins went down, right? And these are the industries that actually got impacted because of that. So people would say that these industries are facing headwinds. Now, opposite of headwinds is tailwinds, right? So tailwinds are factors that make it easier for a business to make a profit. And these factors can be reduced competition from other countries or other companies, a fall in raw material prices, or a sudden rise in the consumer demand. Now, a perfect example of a tailwind was during the peak of coronavirus crisis when the whole world was grappling with the pandemic. The pharmaceutical industry was actually facing the tailwind of increased demand, right? Because there was so much demand for medicines and all the pharmaceutical products that the stock of these pharmaceutical companies actually went through the roof because of these tailwinds, right? So guys, that is it. That is in essence what headwinds and tailwinds are. So I'm hoping that the next time you hear somebody talking about these terms, you will know exactly what they are talking about.